Hi, Zesties. Okay, I'm doing a Portillos mukbang. You know what? Whatever. Even if I have housing instability, I can do my car mukbangs, right? Even though, let me tell you, Zesties, I miss Tampa. It's a shame I had to have those neighbor problems in Tampa, the crazy neighbors. Because, gosh, I wish I still lived there. It's hard. Like, Pinellas is just a lot. I didn't realize that it was so much more suburban here. Tampa is much more urban. I did not quite realize how much more suburban Pinellas County is compared to Tampa. Mmm. But you know what? I'm really impressed with the Chicago style hot dog. I'm not gonna lie at all. I'm not much of a hot dog person, so I wasn't really expecting much, but I just didn't want to spend all that money to get like the beef sandwich again. But you know, like I saw the Chicago style hot dog and I was like, you know what? I've always been curious to try that. Now I'd love to try that Chicago deep dish pizza. I'm not much of a pizza person either. These two things are like for northern people, you know, they love like pizza and hot dogs and whatever. But I've seen northerners argue about pizza, and I'm surprised that there's like a New York style, there's even a Connecticut style and a Detroit style in Chicago, but I've always been curious to try the Chicago deep dish, you know. But yeah, I'm really impressed with the Chicago style hot dog. I am. I can't believe the tomatoes are good like that. The tomatoes really freaked me out. I feel dumb for ordering a large soda because it's way too big. Like, I'm not going to be able to drink it. But, like, um, the tomatoes freaked me out, but everything is good. Like, every part of the Chicago hot dog is really good. Mm-hmm. But anyway, you know, I've been kind of down because I've been like in the middle of this. Like, I moved to a studio and now I'm moving to this big beach house to share with my friends, which is going to be great. But, Portillos is good. I'm not even going to lie. I want to go to Chicago to try some of the food there. Like, I'm sure you guys can imagine that I follow a lot of food channels. Um, and I see a lot of really good looking food coming out of Chicago. But anyway, I'm in my studio, which I do really like. But, you know, I told my landlord that I'm moving next month. And so, she's been showing the place off to new tenants. I thought the first person to see it was gonna take it because, you know, this is the cheapest studio I've ever seen in St. Pete. It was $1,050. Now she's offering it for $1,000. So the housing market in Florida might actually be like cooling down because, you know, a year or two ago there was no $1,000 studio, you know. I was lucky in my place in Tampa, I really was, before the crazy neighbors came. But like, I'm just tired of housing stability. Like, I've never had stable housing, not for a single day in my life. Never. You know, and I feel like I was forced into the traveling lifestyle because I don't know. It's just, I just feel like I was born into it. Like, I never really had stable housing. Not even as a child or a teenager or whatever. And then when you come from a background like I do, you know, you leave as soon as you can. So I've been traveling since I was 17 and now I'm almost 35. Oh, that's your cues, Estes, to go down in the comments and say, oh, you look 25. Oh, I cannot believe I'm going to turn 35 in 2 weeks. Oh, the tragedy of a bitter old queen. Oh, Lord. But anyway, you know, I've been traveling since I was 17. You know, just kind of going where is convenient for me, or like where my survival is best, or whatever. I don't even really know how to describe it, but you know, just going wherever is most convenient or best for me. So you know, I'm just tired of moving. I think Tampa is where I stayed the longest, actually. I think I was in Tampa for, let me see. I think I was in Tampa for 4.5 years. And that's the longest I've stayed anywhere, I think, since I became an adult. But, you know, I almost had a house. Like, I lived in such a nice place in Fort Lauderdale. And I almost bought it. But the bank, like, was rejecting me for the loan. I basically failed at buying it, and then, you know, ever since then I've been on this journey of, oh, I'm gonna buy a house and whatever. And then I became disabled. You know, I have this hip problem, and I permanently injured my hand, and Now is that a story time? I don't know how much I want to tell you guys about myself, but after some of my recent experience, I've decided, I want to actually take this seriously. I want to be whatever this is. But when I became disabled, I used to be very like rational and conservative financially. And like when I became disabled, all that went out the window because I became very... Man, Portillos is so good, Zesties. Because I became very depressed and I've made a lot of really bad mistakes. And now I feel like I'm further away from my house than ever. Oh! And now I'm a 35-year-old beer-old queen. And it's really hard to adjust to Pinellas after living in Tampa. It really is. It's very suburban. It's very boring. I really did not realize that it was such less dense than Tampa. I really, really, really miss Tampa, and it's just going to be hard. I'm very excited to live with friends and live on the beach, but there's nothing on the beach side of Pinellas County. Nothing. And like, it's gonna be hard. I'm probably only gonna be making and I want to get back to mukbanging, but it's hard. It was just so much easier in Tampa. Like right now, at least I live in St. Pete, but when I move to the beach, there's gonna be nothing. So we'll see, Zesties. Anyway, bye, Zesties.